Hey guys, welcome back. So as we all know, when there's these huge stories that pop up in the media, there tends to be something that comes to light very late in the evening, so nobody will see once you're already in your bed, after you've spent the day debating this thing, and the hopes that the next day you'll keep debating this thing. So the race row with Ngozi. Any decent journalist worth their salt could have went on her Twitter and seen her making racist comments about people and stuff. Now, so as is obvious for the public to find these things, why hasn't the media found these things? Why hasn't the media questioned her on these things? And as these things, this evidence is readily available, why are they ignoring it and platforming her on almost every TV channel and radio station and so on? She's been doing the rounds around London, spreading her message, even though it's very clear that she herself is racist. So what are the government covering up? What is it they wanted to release that they did not want you to see? Now this is the important thing, because this is what they don't want you to see. They want you to argue about the race row, which is probably exactly why it's an imperfect situation where some people can believe that it's racism, because we know Prince Philip has been racist, we know the elites are often racist, but also as Ngozi herself is racist, it's a perfect situation to cover something up, because we're all arguing who's the racist, and then they drop this at 11 at night, so nobody sees it. So let's jump into the actual real story that the government don't want you to see. So exclusive, a joint investigation by Talk TV and the Sun can reveal a senior Conservative MP has been reported to the police over a string of alleged grapes. We'll say grapes, certain words you can't say on YouTube. And essays. Well, the backbench MP has not been suspended by Tory party bosses. Now the reason this is a huge scandal is because the current government has been hanging on by a thread for a long time. And what's actually happened is this has came out, but the government has known about this for over 2 years, which means how many prime ministers have we had in that 2 years? 4. So 4 prime ministers have had an MP sat on the bench with this being with these accusations going on, and they've done nothing, they've said nothing, they haven't suspended him. But a more added problem is this has happened multiple times within this serving government. It's ridiculous. So let's jump into the actual story itself and see what's been happening.
A joint investigation by Talk TV and the Sun newspaper can reveal that a senior Conservative MP has been reported to the police over a string of alleged rapes and sexual assaults. Our political editor, Kate McCann, can also reveal tonight that the allegations have been the subject of an external investigation by an independent law firm. But the backbench MP has not been suspended by Tory party bosses. The revelation is the latest in a long series of sexual allegations made against sitting MPs, and comes just a day after it was revealed that a former Conservative minister has also been arrested for historic sex crimes. Well, Kate McCann, who is breaking that story, joins me now. So, Kate, what have you learned?
Well, Tom, a Conservative MP has been reported to police over allegations of sexual assault and rape. I understand there are a number of separate allegations against this sitting Conservative MP, who we are not naming tonight, but who has not been suspended by the Conservative Party. The party has been approached for comment. They have declined to do so. But an independent investigation was conducted by a team of lawyers into these allegations. That is fairly significant. A report was compiled, and that led to a group of senior Conservative MPs making a third-party report to police about these allegations because they were deeply concerned about what they had discovered. Now, my understanding tonight is that senior figures in the Conservative Party have been aware of these allegations for around 2 years. The Metropolitan Police have issued a statement this evening. In that statement, they say, on the 28th of October, police received allegations of serious sexual assault reported to have taken place at unknown dates at undisclosed locations. The reports were submitted via a third party. Officers are making inquiries into these allegations. So clearly, Tom, tonight, significant allegations against a sitting Conservative MP who, as I said there, has not been suspended by the Conservative Party. And this comes, of course, in the wake of similar allegations against MPs from across the House of Commons of sexual misconduct over the last couple of months.
Well, Kate, this is very far from the first serious sexual allegation made against a sitting MP to hit Westminster. In fact, there have been multiple in recent years.
Yeah, and
Let me jump in here, right? Have any of you ever worked anywhere, where in the period of a few years, many of your co-workers were accused of sexual misconduct, sexual assault, of multiple of your co-workers accused of grape? Has anybody ever worked in a place where there was all of these offenders working side by side you, like it was normal? No, that does not happen anywhere. But the people in charge, it's perfectly normal for that to be happening there. It's completely insane. It's completely insane. Also, Sunak has just given the police more powers, literally today, more powers to stop protesters. So they do not want you to see this because the government has been hanging on by a thread for a long time. Nobody wants them in power. This scandal is being brought to light, another scandal, a horrific scandal. So the only thing they can do is distract you and change the law so you can't get them out of Westminster, so you can't get them out of power, so you can't protest at the horrible things that they're doing. It's completely insane.
this is a really difficult question that Westminster has been facing for some time. All parties, in fact, have been facing this difficult question. But just yesterday, The Sun, for example, revealed historic sexual offence allegations against another former Conservative MP. There is a current Conservative MP on bail for a separate allegation of rape. You know, these are very, very serious allegations against members of Parliament. There was a by-election tonight, for example, because in Chester, which was triggered by the resignation of Labour MP Christian Matheson. Now, that was because of 2 complaints of sexual misconduct which were upheld after investigation against him. Now, this is an issue that Parliament itself has tried and rectify. They have instituted new complaints procedures. They have tried to make it much easier for people to come forward with complaints. But I think there is still a deep concern that there is a power imbalance, that there are structures within that environment that make it easier for this to happen, perhaps, or maybe easier for it to go unreported. And tonight, I think those are very serious questions that the Conservative Party will be reckoning with.
They really are. Kate McCann, thank you.
So they're stealing our money, partying during lockdown, giving away billions and billions of pounds to their friends to steal, and literally getting nothing in return when it's supposed to be giving us equipment for the pandemic. It's ridiculous. Excess deaths through COVID compared to other countries were horrendous. Thousands of austerity deaths, which they said there was nothing that could be done about that, even though they could afford to steal billions and billions of pounds. It's completely insane. And then to top off, to be the cherry on top, they're going about graping people. How are these people in power? It's completely insane. I mean, the problem is, we need the people of London to go out and protest and get them out of Westminster, but they're too busy distracting us all in the hopes that you'll just debate the race row instead and leave them in peace to be horrific criminals. It's completely disturbing. So let's see, 5 hours ago, Rishi Sunak pledges police powers to tackle illegal protests. What is an illegal protest? Well, an illegal protest is anything that the government says, or the police say, is illegal. And this is extremely problematic. Now, if you paid attention during the parties that were happening at Downing Street, you would see that obviously the police were there to protect them. There's police posted outside Downing Street that let that parties happen. Yeah, when they got the fine, there were specific rules with these fines that said each time you broke one lockdown rule, your fine would get bigger and bigger and multiply bigger and bigger, to the point that Boris himself should have had a fine in the tens of thousands because he kept doing it over and over again, and the fine would multiply in size. He got one fine for about like 40 quid or something. There is rules for them and rules for us. One woman had a party, one party, and got on the spot £10,000 fine during lockdown, who obviously can't afford to pay it. The police are there to protect the people that are in power from the public. And I think that's being made quite obvious with that and with what's happening now. So more powers to tackle illegal protests. So essentially they're saying, if you do notice this story that was released at 11 at night when you were in bed, well, the police are getting more powers, so you can do nothing about it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our government. It's incredible. It's no wonder that Scottish people want independence. I mean, the people of Scotland hasn't voted in the Tories in over 55 years. The people of England, due to population size, choose the government for all of us. And if the people of England aren't educated enough with regards to politics to choose a party that's going to benefit everybody, instead of most of you choosing a party that is damaging to literally yourselves and everybody else, then this union's not going to last much longer. It's crazy. Anyway, that's all I've got time for. I have legit got to go do some work. So, yeah, I'll jump back on soon.